Welcome back to G2E. We're here with Tommy Kearns, the CEO and co-founder of Xtreme Push. Tommy, thanks for being here.
Yeah, nice to meet you and great to be here, Hillary. Thank you.
Yeah, so grateful for you to spend your very beginning of G2E with us, fresh.
Yeah, as fresh as a daisy.
Yes, I'm sure you have zero jet lag.
None.
Yeah.
10.5 hours to Denver and another hour and a half here, and then not to sleep.
Yeah, and not to mention it's Vegas, so
And it's
I'm
Vegas.
sure, yes, you're having a great time.
Yeah, great. It's good to look at the show. It's a great show. It's getting bigger and better. We've been doing it for the last, I'm going to say, 4 or 5 years. We'll enjoy coming here, meeting both your colleagues and your peers and clients and prospects. And so, yeah, it's been great already.
What's new for you this year?
Yeah, maybe if I kind of give you a bit of background to who we are, what we do. So we're a unified CRM solution built for the iGaming industry. February coming will be our 10th commercial anniversary. So we've kind of been in the industry for quite a while, at 230, 250 sports betting and iGaming logos. Everything it's gone through a kind of an evolvement over the last number of years, went from kind of point solutions to multi-channel solutions, and now what we're calling is the unified solution, which has both all your CRM and all your gamification and loyalty within the one platform. And we do it for scaled operators from tier zeros, as we call them, for all the way down to kind of tier 2s and tier 3s, all right, across the world. So we have offices in 4 or 5 different countries.
Are you branching out into Brazil as well?
We launched in Brazil February 2024, and we've had an amazing entrance to the market. We have 7 people on the ground there now.
Where are you seeing the most growth with your company right now?
Well, we've got probably 7 of the top 10 operators in the US. So we're a Dublin-based, headquartered in Dublin, 2 offices in London, 1 in Brazil, as you said, and then New York. Obviously, US is exceptionally exciting. North American, across Canada and the US. A lot of change happening, all right? When I say change, everyone was in the acquisition mode for so many years, and now it's kind of massive push and focus on kind of retention and growth and kind of sustained growth, which is what we do as a business. So a lot of new customers coming to us looking to change in their stack, or they're changing their CRM. They're coming to us to try and get an understanding of what we can provide to them, and that's what we do. So
you're coming in and saying you're taking care of all of that.
That's exactly it. So that's kind of one of our unique selling points and one of the uniqueness about us. So there's lots of competitors out there who can provide one piece of the puzzle, but we can go in and we can have a look at their problems and challenges, and we say, okay, we can fix that. But not alone can we fix that. You can sleep well in the evening knowing that as we prove ourselves and our performance speaks for itself, you can light up all these other channels, which then unifies the whole suite.
Oh, wow.
We can start on channels, or we can start on the data side, or we can start on the intelligence side, or even on the games. We do free-to-play games, and they may start with us in the games and then unify that on the CRM, which makes a huge amount of sense. So we were the first company globally to unify both CRM and free-to-play gamification. And it used to be 2 separate budget holders, but also within these operators. And now the operators are looking at this going, well, we can use the data of the free-to-play to power our kind of unified solution, or our CRM solution, which is you get a better view of the customer. So a much more personalized view, which means you can power that personalization and communication to that player on an ongoing basis.
Yeah, I was just on a panel about this yesterday, which is everything right now with the younger generation. Like
100%.
Making sure that their personalization in their iGaming platforms, that it's effortless and that it's tailored specifically to them. That's a huge talking point right now.
We talk about meeting them in the moment, meeting them where they are at that time in the moment is what it's all about these days. And that's why the real-time signals that we get from the operators, the touch points from the players, we can then power the personalization in real time back, which is obviously very, very important.
So are you just strictly B2B?
We're B2B, so we basically plug into operators, and then we also plug into partners. So big, large partners, the B2B partners who plug in PAMs and that ecosystem. So we're plugged into all of the PAMs around the world, plugged into kind of large kind of game solutions. So we can both power free-to-play games, but also power some of their CRM for their B2C customers.
So as iGaming continues to expand, are you talking with land-based casinos about the products that they're
100%.
working on? Okay.
We had a meeting this morning, our first meeting this morning, G2E. We had it with a very, very large operator who's 90%, more than 90% on land and moving towards omni-channel. and they kind of control one very large geo, and the whole point of that was, how do we bring this kind of omni-channel approach? They have hundreds and thousands of, probably millions of customers coming through all of their physical casinos. They have an online presence, but they want to now drive that online forward. That's kind of our kind of purpose to live, is to do that and help them, because we can understand them where they are in the casino and then drive them towards CRM, both from an acquisition perspective, be it a free-to-play game, or driving them towards promoted games or promoted activities, and then retaining and growing them on an ongoing basis.
Yeah, that's massive.
Some of the loyalty stuff that we're doing is really interesting, just like innovative, not from us, but from the operator side, because again, meeting them in the moment, in their moment, and from different geos around the world, be it a free spin or be it food and beverage rewards, it's all tailored to that optimal experience for the customer.
What's something that just really impressed you over the past year, like a new development? Is it something like that, or?
I think if you look at the evolvement, should I say, of CRM in gaming, I think it's all moving towards that unification view. But then, and bringing gamification and loyalty's become very, very big across the world, all right? And it will become much bigger. But I think the agentic AI, and you can't have a conversation without talking about AI, but we've been doing machine learning for 4, 5, 6 years. So building models to kind of do VIP or do churn predictions or experience predictions, etc. But the agentic AI, very, very embryonic. It is going to change how CRM is done in the future. So if you think about gaming, we work in very highly regulated industries. I don't see in the near future where an agent is going to create a campaign and then finish it cradle to grave. But we are seeing all of the nuance of that, or kind of the evolvement up to pushing the button to create, to let the campaign go. We're seeing all of that hard work being done by agentic AI. So research kind of analyst, kind of segmentation analyst, create campaign analyst. But one of the differences that we're bringing to the table, we think the human in the loop element is not going away. We think in fact in highly regulated markets where risk, no one's going to risk sending an automated campaign to their user base and getting it wrong.
Right.
All right, so human in the loop, it's going to make the CRM function way more efficient. It's going to make, it's going to 10x the CRM execs, their capacity to do work, their efficiency, their effectiveness, but there's still going to be that governance layer, and that's going to become hugely important all across the industry. There's a lot of talk of just automating the whole lot. I just don't believe that's true. I don't believe it's there. I don't think we're going to get there in the next 3 or 4 years either. Do I see a time when that could be? Maybe. But I do think it is a really exciting evolvement of technology, and used as an orchestration tool across and to make you more efficient and effective. I think it's going to be world changing.
So what's next for your company over the next year? What are you guys working on?
As I said, 10-year-old business now in February. We're kind of growing at a huge rate at the moment still, organically. We've made 3 acquisitions over the last 10 years, a couple of small ones, and acquired a free-to-play games company 2 years ago. So we're also looking at acquisitions at the moment to see if there's complementary technology and services that we can grow and help our operators from a customer for life. That's kind of one of our philosophies, customers for life. How do we help solve their challenges both deeply, all right, in a vertical, but also as we grow, what else can we do with them that can help solve other challenges, so they don't have to consistently, go out to new providers, where they can do it all within the one trusted partner.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Yeah, I think condensing all that down is crucial at this point, just to be an all-around provider. That's incredible. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Tommy.
Oh, thank you.
You have very exciting things on the horizon. So.
I hope so. But look, thanks for having me, Hilary, and really enjoyed chatting to you.
Welcome back. It is G2E, the Global Gaming Expo of 2025. We are live on the expo floor here at the Venetian Convention Center. Brady Cannon for Sports Grid here with you, and we continue to bring great guests on board here talking about the gaming convention, their businesses, and right now we're lucky enough to be joined by Tomash Devenishek. He is the creator and founder of Kero Sports. Tomash, welcome so much to the program.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited, big fan of Sports Grid, and always wanted to be on this, so thank you for having me.
Yeah, and of course, this is right up your alley. Your product, Kero Sports, is involved directly in sports betting. And I was just talking to you a little bit before we came on the set here, a little bit about your business, and it's heavily involved in in-game wagering.
Correct. We think about the sports fan or sports bettor experience through this lens of entertainment, I guess, right? And what is entertaining? I think if you abstract for a second from the sports world itself, like look at how we consume media today and how we consume digital experiences. A lot of it it's got instant gratification. It's oftentimes, probably most of the time now, curated for you. You're not spending too much time sort of navigating to things. You're just scrolling up and down and being fed kind of content that is engaging and relevant to you. And so we took that approach and that framework into the live game experience, right? So you're watching the game, you're seeing LeBron James score 3 3-pointers in a row. What is it that you're subconsciously sort of thinking about? It's, well, is he on a hot streak here? Is he going to have his fourth? And that's kind of the nugget from which I started the company. And perhaps for the folks at home, what we do specifically is we build anything that you can think of the word next.
Yeah.
As a betting
what's going to happen next
proposition. Exactly. So anything you could have next, in front, or behind of, will so-and-so's next shot be a 3 or a 2? Will the next snap be a pass or a run? Will they get a touchdown on the next pass? Will they gain a first down? Will the speed of the next mark of the next pitch be over under this particular speed? So a lot of kind of very short form, real-time betting content that I think mirrors the other experiences that we've grown to use and love out there in the digital realm.
I love the under-over on what the speed of the next pitch is going to be. Because if you're a real baseball fan, you might know, hey, the next pitch is going to be an off-speed pitch. It's going to be a curveball. Yeah. He's not going to throw it 102.
Yeah, well, and then therein lies sort of the complexity and the challenges of what we do, because it's not just building that as a proposition, it's also pricing it, right?
Yeah,
so we take care of the entire end-to-end pipeline of that content and then deliver it as a data feed basically to our operator partners. But there's a lot that goes into it, if you can imagine, from a pricing or a data science standpoint as well, to try and anticipate the type of pitch it's going to be, to try and anticipate the type of snap it's going to be based on where the team is, based on
the situation.
Exactly. So it's extremely situational, and it's a lot of fun to engage with it, right? Because I think as a fan of any sport that you know and like, we all are we all have predetermined biases towards like what the strategy will be and what the
we're all trying to predict the outcome.
Exactly.
And if we can make some money doing it, right?
Exactly. And so going back to my original example, you could hate LeBron and then you'll say, no, this is a fluke. Or you could love him and say, yes, he's actually coming into himself here. It doesn't matter. The point is that it's really engaging as a piece of content that amplifies your in-game experience.
He is Tomash Devenishek. He is the founder and CEO of Kero Sports, an in-game wagering software piece, correct?
Yes,
really?
Technology company.
So I want to know, it's a technology, it's a software piece that you're supplying sports books with to facilitate their in-game wagering experience. Now, you mentioned also building in the price and creating the market. Do you have your own odds maker, so to speak, that is helping you, hey, this pitch, we're talking as an example, or LeBron to make a three-pointer. You have a guy in the back that's saying that's going to be minus 130 and that's plus 110, or, how does that work?
I wish it was that easy. We have a combination of guys and technology, let's put it this way. During the game, while everything is happening, it's all purely algorithmic. So there are no people sitting there and manually moving the line or anything like that. Algorithms do this, machine learning models. However, we do also have a trading team,
Right.
which is observing what's actually happening in the game. So they're watching the games. They're also seeing the live bet data coming back in to see if there may be some patterns that the model is not recognizing, that some of the punters are recognizing. And then a data science team that is in charge of building and fine-tuning those machine learning models. And so it's basically this sort of feedback loop. Every day is a new experience. Every day we learn something new. Those models that I talked about are on version 185 by now because there's a lot of data out there. The point is to interpret it and sort of extrapolate the signal from the noise, right? Because if you just simply dump lots of data at a model, it'll look good, but then what will happen is people will spot inefficiencies inside of it, right? So there's this constant kind of feedback loop that's happening where we look at the data from the bets themselves and analyze it now actually through a few more angles than just profitability. For example, as you know, fast markets have been under a little bit of a scrutiny in terms of maybe players are throwing a certain pitch in not for the right reasons, let's just say. And so that data, that sort of granular process whereby every day as well as live, we're kind of watching everything happening and trying to spot patterns. And sometimes those are data patterns, and sometimes there could be something else where, well, this is unusual, right? Like, why is that? And so it's this constant feedback loop of interpreting the information that we're getting back from the market and then injecting that into whatever next steps we have to do.
Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Again, diving deep into G2E 2025 here live from the Venetian Expo floor. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
One of the key ingredients to in-game wagering and your product and this dynamic here is timing. It has to be so fast. I pick up my phone here and I want to make a bet. I'm watching a game. If we're trying to guess the speed of the next pitch or, something that is that quick, there's not a whole lot of time to set a price, make a bet. How do we make it so fast that it's efficient for everyone, the bettor, the company, the sports book?
Well, look, the technology itself does this in under a second. Within a second, the right things have happened, right? The calculation of the odds, the creation of the proposition, et cetera, yeah. And then similarly, the snap started. Now that proposition is no longer available,
right,
et cetera, et cetera. So I think the logistical parts have been solved by the technology, which has now grown to be able to facilitate this. And that's on the kind of creation side, right? Then there's the engagement with it side. And I think that's got potentially two challenges. One, the latency of the broadcast, right? If you're watching it on something that is 45 seconds behind, you're not really seeing the next pitch.
Yeah.
You're not seeing that snap. And that's a problem. I think it's not a massive problem because if you go from now till 10 years from now or 5 years from now and one of us had to bet on whether broadcast latency is going to increase or decrease, we would probably both take the decrease, right? So I think over time, that problem solves itself. And then it's really about how much time do you have in the sports book to engage in it if you're using that app. And I think the one beautiful thing about this content category, it's not meant to replace everything, right? I think people make parlays and They engage with all kinds of content.
It's just another item on the menu.
Yeah, this is just another item, and I think if you missed one pitch and you can catch the next one, it's not really a big problem, right? And then I think for those folks that do use some of the top tier operators, you'll see some pretty cool dedicated UI that's meant for fast betting. It sort of abstracts most of the other content and kind of gives you like really big buttons to be able to just sit there and predict the next whatever. So I think the problem has been attacked and solved from most angles. Is it perfect? No. Will it?
Not yet.
It's a fairly new category, right? This is like a 2-3-year-old product.
Right.
So I think it'll get better. It is very much a manifestation of what our other digital experiences look like. And so I think the category is here to stay. Will it replace things? No, of course not. But will it be this kind of smaller, funner way to engage with sports betting? For sure. Because, again, if we're talking about SGPs, et cetera, that's more of a lottery ticket purchase, right? Whereas what fast markets are is more kind of an iCasino style version of sports, right? And so I think folks will enjoy it. Genuinely do think that it's just a lot of fun too.
Oh yeah, it's just yet another derivative of the old days where we just said, I'm going to bet on Team A to beat Team B.
Yeah.
Now there's all different ways to engage in that matchup. Tomash, you were kind enough to join us here on Sports Grid last year at G2E. And, we're talking about how things get faster and more efficient. I got to believe it's changed for you wholeheartedly in the last 12 months.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's changed and the category has risen, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. There's sort of tides lifting all boats type of a thing where obviously folks have probably seen some press releases from us. We work with a handful of operators now in the U.S. and other parts of North America. So that's been great. I think the other cool thing that I see happening over the next couple of years is I think sports data is getting better,
right?
More granular. Some sports is pretty great already, but take a sport like soccer. It's a unique sport when it comes to fast markets because there isn't that.
There's really no stoppage, right?
Yeah, there's no stoppage. The game just flows, and quite often nothing happens.
Yeah,
you could go for 5-10 minutes without anything happening. It's a very difficult. Going back to your question around how do you generate those odds, it's a far more difficult way to take a mathematical representation of the game because you have so many moving pieces in this continuity versus something like baseball or basketball where a basket gets scored, who's got the ball next, which players are on the court. So it's far more simple is the wrong word. It's
less finite.
Yeah, and so soccer data has been getting great, and obviously World Cup is coming to the U.S., so we're super pumped about that because soccer is the one sport that we tackled on really early.
Tell us real quick as we wrap up here about the success of your company and who are some of the big operators that you're working with.
Our success, again, I think is just driven by more of a macro dynamic, and obviously we were here 5 years ago and started on this journey before this was popular, and we kind of skated to where the puck is going to be in a Wayne Gretzky reference. I'm Canadian, so and I think that's helped us a lot. But we're excited by what we're experiencing, and it's been a fun ride.
Well, we wish you the best. He is Tomash Devenishek, the creator and founder of Kero Sports. Thank you so much for joining us again here this year at G2E on Sports Grid.
Thank you so much for having me.